Good evening. Welcome to a brand new episode of No Planet B. Today, we are exploring the making of a carbon and gender neutral magazine. We have with us Aditya Sahadevan, the editor of Bonafide, the annual college magazine of Government Law College Ernakulam. Aditya is a final year law student, a strong voice for climate justice, the recipient of the JCI-INDIA Outstanding Young Person Award 2021. I'm so happy to have Aditya with us today. Let's welcome him to our show.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. What about you?
All good. Good day today.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that we are discussing about this topic. First of all, congrats to you and your entire team. It is indeed a matter of pride that a college magazine committee actually thought of putting these two terms together, gender neutrality and carbon neutrality, and being these two terms being the forefront of their magazine. It brings me so much happiness that you guys have actually done it. So congrats to you, Aditya. So how did this thing happen? Like, how did you guys come up with this concept and take us through the journey of it?
Yeah, sure. Honored to. So, myself, Aditya Sahadevan, climate justice activist and also the magazine editor of Government Law College Ernakulam. So, I mean, being the parent of Bonafide, it gives me absolute honor to talk about this. So, and thanks so much for the invite, and thank you so much, all those guys who are joining here. So, as you all know, as you said, Bonafide is the first carbon and gender neutral college magazine to be ever released. So, I mean, and also it's the first of its kind magazine. So, yeah, talking about its content, it's it's centered around climate neutrality and gender neutrality. So it almost took 250 days of struggle to create this magazine, and 250 days.
Oh, wow.
That is almost 6 to 7 months. And I was so absorbed into this, and I was so emotionally attached to this project as well. I've never been so emotionally attached to any other project than this. Yeah. So
I'm sure there are other things as well, but yes, I agree.
The specialty about Bonafide the magazine is that it has gone beyond limits to create, and it has gone beyond extents to create actual social and environmental impact. So, according to my observation, I've seen many student college magazines. I just released college magazines for the sake of winning an election. I mean, a political ambition. They have a political ambition behind this stuff. So, taking my case. Taking the case of this magazine, this is truly not a magazine with a political ambition. Just like the name, Bonafide. This is done with Bonafide intention. So we have done sheer justice to the name as well, and also Bonafide is a classical case of or a clear case of preach and practice. We have practiced what we have preached in the magazine. So this is the first time a magazine has practiced what it has preached. I mean. Most of the time we have seen, most of the people do these lofty sermons, and they try to fill in these aesthetic poems or cliche poems. But this is truly an exceptional case. Yeah. So this is an introduction about Bonafide.
Great. The josh with which you're saying things, I can already feel the 250 days of hard work you've put into it. I have so many questions to ask you, but let me just try segregating the question into multiple pockets. Here we are addressing two different topics, gender neutrality and carbon neutrality. So my first question to you is, being the captain of the ship, how did you ensure that the journey of Bonafide was gender inclusive, which is a very important term? How did you ensure that?
Yeah. Actually, taking the case of this gender neutrality, there are two aspects. So, talking about the first aspect, we have added a new editing criteria. Okay. I mean, we might heard about. Okay, yeah. So, am I audible?
You are. It just I lost that word there.
Yeah.
New editing.
So, no, talking about this gender neutrality, there are two aspects to it. So the first aspect is that we have added a new editing criteria.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we might have heard about editing, proofreading as an editing criteria, like or checking the facts or checking the spelling mistakes. But this is, I mean, a whole new thing. But I mean, I'm not showing that much pride in telling this thing, because these are basic things. These are fundamental things to be followed while doing something. So I'm not showing so much, I mean, confidence. I mean, so much pride in it. Actually, it's the most basic thing to be done. So. Talking about the criteria, so it almost took 2 months for editing, and we have almost gone some 3-4 stages of proofreading as well, to make sure that there isn't even a single error of gender biasedness, to make sure that it's totally totally free of malinities.
To our audience, can you explain what that means when you
Like what?
say,
Okay,
you
yeah.
just mentioned that, yeah, like the
Okay,
editing, what, can you give us an example maybe, if that's okay?
yeah, sure. For talking about words, a manpower is a word that we have used, that we use in the daily life, manpower. So here in the magazine, we have changed the word manpower into person hours. So,
Oh,
so hence we have converted into gender neutrality. Hence it is a gender neutral word right now. Talking about pronouns, we have inserted he or she or they. He or she, to make it more general. Maybe I can I give an example to understand that. So and actually it's based on a real life incident actually. So I was having a conversation with my friend, and about a doctor, about an appointment with the doctor. So I told him that, yeah, and I told him about the stuff, and he asked me like, Aditya, what did he say? I was like, I did not,
oh,
yeah, I
okay.
did not even mention the name of the doctor nor the gender of the person, but that person subconsciously assumed that it is a he. So my question is
Okay.
like, what is like, why is it he for certain professions? Why is it she for certain professions? So
Got it.
education system and the society failed us.
Oh,
That's why we make common mistakes like this in our daily conversations. So in order to cure this mistake, in order to cure this, I don't believe that these are little things. I mean,
no, they
yeah,
aren't, because
yeah,
language is such a powerful tool, and to use
yeah.
it, and great job there, yeah. Anything else you would like to add to being
Yeah, sure.
gender inclusive? Yeah.
Yeah, one more aspect, like I've said, aforementioned. Yeah, so in most of the education institutions, we can see that women remain underrepresented in committees in education institutions. So, in a deliberate attempt, I had the opportunity to make the editorial board gender inclusive and politically inclusive as well.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so there are 22 members, and out of this 22, 11 men and 11 men, 11 there are 11 men and 11 women. So I mean, there's a deliberate attempt to make it
Representation.
totally equal. Yeah, totally equal on equal spread terms. And also these people have different political beliefs as well. So these, I mean, gender inclusive and political inclusive as well. So I mean, we have seen people posting stuff on equality on social media, uh, but when we personally interact with them, we know that they might be a hypocrite. So my advice is that we have to preach what we practice. Yeah,
Wow. I don't agree with the thing that you said. It's a small thing. It is not.
yeah,
Things starts there. And like I mentioned, language is a powerful tool. And congrats to your team for actually using the tool.
thank
Yes,
you.
I'm pretty sure this is a huge inspiration to many. Now let's get to the second topic, which personally for me is like my favorite topic.
Yeah,
So
obviously.
coming to carbon neutrality, I
Yeah,
read that to compensate for the carbon costs incurred during the production of this magazine,
yeah,
you had planted 63 saplings. I hope I got it right.
yeah.
So, how did you do the math? How did you end up with this? And how come? I mean, I know 63 sapling, it's still a huge number. How come you got it to 63 saplings? I'm just curious about the whole thing.
Yeah, actually, I've been hearing this question for a while, because 6-3, although it sounds fancy, but I mean, it is not intentional. It is truly an accidental one, because we thought of planting 100 saplings, but out of because of shortage of space. We had to plan in the college premises. So out of this issue, that we only a few space to plan this sapling. So we had to resort to from 100 to 50. So yeah, so initially we thought of planting 100 saplings. Then we decided to go with 50 saplings, and also and after that we took some 14 saplings as backup. So after we planted these 50 saplings, and we were really shocked to see that many people are coming, and we really wanted, we really doesn't want them to be dissatisfied. So we gave them the saplings, and yeah, that's how it. That's the story behind this number 63. It is totally accidental.
Got it. But how did you come up with, let's take 50 saplings? How did you come up with that number? What is the math that went behind the?
Yeah, there isn't any big math behind it, but it's all about some certain approximate figures and all. I can't give a proper or accurate figure, but I can give an accurate, idea or an approximate figure about this this statistics. Yeah. So likewise you said, we have planted 63 saplings, and that too scientifically. So we thought about planting it in the initial phase. We thought about distributing the saplings, but and as we all know that only 95 to 90% people really care about planting it, planting saplings. So the growth rate will be only very few. So that's why we decided to go with the scientific plantation. So it will have, the growth will be immense. Yeah. So we planted this sapling scientifically to offset or compensate the carbon footprint that is released from the college magazine throughout the process, from the initial process to the ending. So for example, I can tell you the breakdown. The breakdown of events. So So many other events or many other activities are taken into consideration for calculation of this carbon footprint. Actually took an understanding of how how much carbon footprint this magazine would have. I can't give an accurate figure about it, but what we hear, what I can literally say is that I can give an idea about how much, how much carbon footprint it might have emitted, and also from what all sources. We need to know the sources, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So starting with the environmental cost of printing. So
got one there.
Yeah, environmental cost of printing. So for this magazine, maybe somewhere on earth, thousands of trees might be cut down for this project. So to make this guilt free, that is one reason why we decided to scientifically plant these trees. Yeah. And talking about other thing, that's the screen time used by the authors and the illustrators. So we have even covered the minute factors. Even minute the aspects that even people wouldn't even care about it. Yeah. So some people might be thinking about what's big deal about screen time. So my response is that even the Instagram live you're watching might be emitting about some 20 to 30 kilograms of carbon emissions, because we are watching it through non-renewable resources. It is powered by non-renewable resources. So even for a good thing, this webinar is for an ethical purpose only, for making sure that people are aware. So even for good purpose, there's a carbon footprint left behind. So my intention is to deliver that perspective that even for good things, there's a carbon footprint, and we have to compensate that footprint.
Got it.
Yeah, so even
I
the screen
feel a little bit guilt at the moment, but let's just, it's for awareness purposes, guys. So yeah,
let's do something after this to compensate the footprint that is released from this this talk show.
Definitely. That's happening.
So talking about another aspect, we are almost sent 10 mails for advertising tariff. Why mail? Since advertisement is the main source of funding for the college magazines, we only have this. We only have few funds to be gotten from the college, so we have to resort to outside sources. So almost 5-10 mails have been sent, and an email emits about 30 to 50 gram of carbon emissions, depending on the size of the attachment. So yeah, so these meals might be 50 grams, might be ranging from 50 grams because it has these attachments as well.
Got it.
Yeah. So when there is attachment, it means the short, the more the, I mean, documents or the, I mean, what do we say, like
Storage
the medium.
size of the.
Yeah, so, yeah, storage. I accidentally forgot that word, storage. Yeah, so thank you. And yeah, the more the storage, the more the emissions, because yeah, the more the storage and the more the emissions. So that is 10 males. So we can literally do a speed math here. That is 10 males into 50 grams of carbon emissions. That is 500 grams of carbon emissions. That is half kilogram of carbon emissions just for sending an advertising proposal from a college magazine. Who would have ever thought that?
My God. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things that we often neglect in the normal life and in the daily lives. So I mean, talking about me, like I can also I also like to give a tail into that. That is every year about some 60 million tons of spam mails have been sent. No, sorry, 60 million spam mails have been sent, and it amounts about 20 million tons of carbon emission from the spam mails. And also 30 billion tons of electricity is generated from this process. So spam mails, I mean, we know that is totally futile. We don't even read it actually.
Open.
Yeah. It ends up in our mailbox and we don't even care about it. So we can literally imagine that even without knowing this thing, we are emitting to this 20 million tons of gross carbon emissions every year. So we are always behind blaming the government or corporate for the carbon emissions, but we are also responsible.
Responsible.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even the minute things are also calculated in this magazine. So yeah, these are the three factors that we have covered mostly, and also even transportation, environmental costs are also considered. But I mean, I haven't got the statistics regarding that. But yeah, so in order to compensate this carbon footprint, we have scientific
When
learned
do you think will get compensated by the, let's consider in 40 years time?
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for reminding me that. So, a sapling or a tree has a capability of absorbing 4 tons of carbon footprint in a span of 40 years. So that means a speed math, that is 250 tons of carbon footprint. In a span of 40 years, this college magazine, the Bonafide magazine, has the ability to absorb 250 tons of carbon emissions. So from this project, not only the offsetting is not done for the magazine as well, but also this project will offset the carbon footprint released from the college campus as well.
Got it.
Yeah.
And have you is there like a restriction on the number of printed copies or anything of that sort? Is it purely on an e-basis, the magazine?
Yeah, sure. I mean, this time we have cut half by, I mean, last year we have printed over 1,000 copies, and this year we have cut it half by 500. So less the copies, less the footprint. Yeah.
It's interesting to note here that you've tried to cut the carbon sources at the source itself. Like, for example, you have reduced the number of mails, reduced the number of copies. So you have ensured that at where it can get generated, you've ensured it's not getting generated, cutting things at the source. So that's actually an interesting point there. I was just thinking, like, when you take carbon neutrality and gender neutrality, these two terms are highly interlinked. You know, we often don't realize that because climate change per se, sadly, is not gender neutral. So any climate action that one takes, it is important to note that it is as much as carbon neutral, it should equally be gender neutral, because in many contexts, women are more vulnerable to the impacts of climate change compared to that of men. So for me, when I read about this initiative by the students of Government Law College Ernakulam, it brought me so much happiness, because you have actually tried clubbing these two very important terms together. So, you know, that's actually a huge inspiration to many, Aditya. Like, good job there, yeah. We are
Actually,
almost coming.
it's my
Is
duty
there
to do
any
that.
final thought that you would like to share with our audience?
I'm
We are
sorry.
almost coming towards the timing. The clock is kind of ticking. So,
Yeah.
do you any final thoughts before we wrap up the show?
Also, I missed one point because I've been asked by one of my friend that Aditya, if you're so concerned about the environment, why don't you release an online magazine? So my answer was like, yeah, that's a good question, obviously. But here, I mean, in a political campus or in a campus like mine, I had to. It's a very crucial issue to release the physical copies. So I have to release the physical copies as well. So I have that guilt.
Hmm.
So to compensate that guilt, I did this. I mean, did this activity. So to that friend, even for watching, I mean, and likewise, he has said that even for screen time, there's a carbon footprint. For example, even watching Netflix or Prime Video emits about 0.6 kilogram of carbon emission per hour. So even for online editions, even for online edition of a carbon and gender neutral magazine, there will be carbon footprint. So the moral of the story is that even for good things, there's a carbon footprint, and the best thing is that we can use clean energy, or we can compensate the carbon footprint.
Got it. That's
Yeah.
actually a great statement. And Aditya, I did a little bit of reading about you, and I found out that you have done actually amazing work of spreading awareness regarding climate change and eco stress. And I've already read your article regarding how we can curb in our day-to-day lives by minimizing the screen time, and per se how can we as individuals contribute towards reaching our net zero targets by 2070. So kudos to you, keep doing such brilliant work. I know there are much to come, and I'll be closely watching your steps, and I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much, Aditya, for saying yes to my podcast. It was
So much.
absolute pleasure having you, and thank you.
I'm sorry. I have something more to say.
Oh, definitely, we have time. Don't worry.
Yeah. So yeah.
All
So
yours.
yeah. So it's great to be back for a talk show, for a webinar, because it's been so long since I've been part of this webinar course, because I have been not I was not intentionally taking these talk show calls, because I was having this feeling that I was not doing enough. My eco anxiety was pushing me hard that I was not doing enough, because I was only centered around climate education in the initial phases. I mean, I used to deliver, I mean, speeches on climate education, but I was missing on the preaching part. I mean, the practicing part. So I felt little hypocritical about me, and I also heard some comments about me, and which I really appreciate, because it is comments like this which makes us improve. It is makes which makes us amend more things. So as a result of that, I had this gut feeling, and I made a challenge to myself that Aditya won't do any webinars in a span of time until and unless he do something in practice. And here it is.
Wow,
This is
that's a statement there, guys. Aditya, let me tell you, this is absolutely a stunning thing that you have done, because this is kind of the reflection that the youth of our country would like to see. This is actually the voice of our youth that you have brought forward, that we need a climate, a gender inclusive and a carbon neutral future for ourselves. So this is not a small thing that you have done. It is actually a inspiration to many. So a pat on your back here, and we are definitely going around telling this to more people, because more people need to hear your story there. Yeah. So
yeah.
good job there, Aditya. And I'm so sorry. I should stop having these time limits for my podcast, because I should just because I can keep listening to you for more hours to go. But unfortunately, we do have a time limit. So let's catch up again. I have
Sure.
more questions to ask you. Let's have a part two sometime soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also may interrupt.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
definitely. Yeah.
if any of the listeners who, I mean, any of the listeners who are interested in reading this magazine, do let me know. Do give a message. I'm very glad to share it. So yeah, I mean, and also looking forward for your responses as well. And if and also if any one of you would like to do a magazine like this, I'm all in, because I might not be part of the college, I might not be part of the editorial board, but I'm in.
Oh, how lovely. People there who are doing magazines, writing articles, books, just give him a ring. He's all yours. He'll help you out with everything. Thank you so much. Aditya is absolutely adorable, and all the very best to your future ahead. I'm sure it's bright and wonderful, yeah? Thank you so much, Aditya, and thank you to our lovely viewers. We have more episode coming up in No Planet B, so do click that follow button, go there, follow our page. Thank you,
And
Aditya.
thank you so much for listening and giving me this opportunity. And also, you're also, a climate activist to look up to, because you also, you preach things, and also you practice by doing the sustainable architecture, right? So yeah, I'm really proud of you as well.
Thank you. That's so sweet of you to say. Thank you so much, Aditya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all for
Sure.
listening.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.